Alright, it has been a little while since I've talked about Kagurabachi. I wasn't around to talk about the more recent chapters because I was out on vacation. But now that, the new chapters are out, I did contemplate making like one big video talking about the chapters I didn't focus on, but I scrapped that the last minute because obviously it'd be too long. So I thought I'd focus more on the recent chapter. But as I read it, I realized I can't talk about that without talking a little bit about the last chapter. So this video is mostly going to focus on both. But anyways, let's get on to it. So real quick, let's talk about Chapter 16. In Chapter 16, we start off with Chihiro, who had just saved Char, which was a beautiful moment, by the way. I felt a lot of emotions when he finally got to her and saved her. But now that he finally got a hand of her, he's doing his best to protect her, and now he's trying to reach Sojo. And as the chapter continues, we see Char actually heal Chihiro. And that's a bit crazy to me because I didn't think about her doing that. And it seems so obvious. Like, I'm over here thinking about, oh, Chihiro's like really wounded, like how is he going to be able to save her and get out? But of course, she has the ability to heal others, not just herself. So, in retrospect, it probably seemed obvious, I just didn't think about it. But this is great. Now, Chihiro's actually able to move his fingers, his hands, and he's able to wield his blade again. Then he leaves Char with Shiba for him to take care of her while he tries to go out for Sojo. And then the Kumanabi, we see them fight against Sojo. And I don't want to get too into the fight, because I'm sure everyone's read it. But just to briefly summarize, I honestly don't think the Kumanabi did that bad against Sojo. I know everyone's clowning on them, saying that they're fodder. And I'm going to give them a little bit of credit, because they did try to strategize, and they did use Chihiro's advice as best as they could for their plan of attack. Obviously, Sojo has an enchanted blade, so like, it was never going to be a fair fight. I know it's like a bunch of them against one guy, but an enchanted blade just makes so much of a difference. But I mean, I really enjoyed the strategy, and I enjoyed how everyone really tried their best to fight, and some of the paneling was really good. Like, if this ever gets adapted into an anime, this is going to be one hell of an amazing fight to see. But, unfortunately, they all managed to go down. But, despite that, I still, I enjoyed the fight. And I hope we get to learn more about them later on. Of course, assuming that, this keeps going as long as it can. But, I'm not going to clown them on anything. I thought the fight was enjoyable, and they really did their best. And they actually listened to Chihiro. So, they could have easily ignored him and just lost way faster. But that's just me. Anyways, the chapter ends with Chihiro encountering Sojo. And now they prepare to fight, as we see here in the text that the battle would last a mere moment. Now let's move ahead to the current chapter. Now the chapter opens up, and we see a timer. 12 seconds. And below we see the fight between Chihiro and Sojo. And I gotta say, the art and the paneling, just for the last few chapters, and especially here, has been really good. It really adds to it, but I'm gonna get more to that a little later. Now, as we move on, we see the chapter is called Tea, which confused me a little bit. And as we move on to the next panel, we see Sojo and Chihiro they're drinking tea. They're drinking tea and they're eating dongo, and I don't know. I didn't know how to feel about that at first, but it actually works really well here. But let's talk about the moment first. Let's talk about how everything transpires. So, Sojo and Chihiro are currently having a discussion about their own philosophy and ideologies. Now, Sojo, he's well aware that Chihiro's Rokihira's son. Even though Chihiro's like, who told you that? Despite the fact that he literally said it a few chapters ago. And we see that panel right behind him. Now, afterwards, he understands that he's his son. And now he accepts his belief, in which Chihiro said that the enchanted blade was meant to protect others. But Sojo is the polar opposite. He doesn't believe in that. And not only does he not believe in that, he believes that Rokihira's true intent for the enchanted blade was for slaughter. But we actually see Chihiro here say that every day I saw how my dad approached the sword. Every single day. Sojo's belief is wrong. And then Sojo takes like a little pause and he's like, every single day? Every day with Rokihira? Wait, stop, every day? I'm so curious. And then he just starts freaking out. He's like, no, I don't want to know. I want to stay with the belief that I've had this entire time and stick with that. I believe that's his ideology and that's not my ideology. And I find that really, really interesting. So, assuming that he wasn't, he was just a little less of a fanboy and a little more clear-headed, and of course, at the same time, assuming if he actually knew Rokihira in person, he probably could have been persuaded into believing that, yeah, the enchanted blade is meant to protect others the same way that Chihiro does. But at this moment in time, Sojo says that he's already reached his conclusion, and he personally doesn't think that he's wrong. Then, as we move ahead, we see more of their fight, and they're really going at it, like Sojo and Chihiro are giving it their all. Now there's 9 seconds left, and as they continue to fight, we see both of them move at blitzing speeds. Chihiro even sacrifices his own arm just to change the trajectory, which is insane, by the way. Like, Chihiro is dedicated to taking this man down, even if it means losing an arm, which, to be honest, might be a bit much because this is just one enchanted blade. He still needs to get plenty more, but he's dedicated to ending this fight right here now. Though that does make me wonder if Char is able to regenerate the limbs of other people. Not that I think she should. I don't think she should be using her powers, unless it's for herself if she's in constant danger. Though I do wonder if she is capable of that, or if she'd even be willing to do that for Chihiro, or if Chihiro would even want it. But I am getting a little too ahead of myself. Let me continue on with the chapter itself. Then we move back to the tea room, which is what I'm going to call it. Sojo says, "You think you're the only one who can speak for Rokihira? I thought the same thing, but that's wrong. Anyone can take on that role. That's why this battle is meaningful. It's really important for him, and of course Chihiro, to try to prove that their own personal belief is the right one." And as we see Chihiro chowing down on some dango, we see a flashback about what Rokihira said before. He says, "There's still tools for killing people. These aren't necessarily the right answer. You're going to have to look at the world through your own eyes." And I think this is really well done because it shows that Chihiro isn't exactly the one on the right here. Neither is Sojo. For Rokihira, at least to me, it seems like it comes down to everyone's own personal ideology and what they truly believe. And whatever they believe in, that's basically the right choice. If you believe it's meant to protect people, then that's what the blade should be used for. If you think it's for slaughter, then that's not the wrong idea either. Because as Rokihira himself said, there are still tools for killing people. These are very dangerous weapons. Like, we all know that they were used to end the war. And he had them put away for a reason. There's no war, there's no battle, so there's no reason to really have them out there. And look what happened. Rokihira died as a result of people trying to get a hand of these blades. They're dangerous. But at the same time, Chihiro's philosophy isn't wrong either. He wants to protect others. He managed to save Char, and he managed to take out a lot of people within the organization that killed his father. And he managed to protect basically half, if not the whole city, from Sojo's own attack using his enchanted blade. He protected a lot of lives. So, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just, like I said, everyone's own personal belief about how the blade should be used. And now that Chihiro realizes this, that adds a lot more weight to the fight, because it's really going to come down to which of their beliefs is the strongest. And we're seeing that now as they continue to fight. Like previously, I just said Chihiro lost an arm. Now as the fight continues, Sojo loses an arm. Like, they're basically neck and neck. And as the chapter nears its end, the timer is going down. It's almost done. Sojo realizes there's basically only a second left. But it doesn't matter. We see Chihiro use Kuro, and then boom. He manages to slice up Sojo, and he even cuts down the enchanted blade. So I assume after this, Chihiro basically wins the fight. And I gotta say, this was a beautiful chapter. Probably one of my favorites throughout the whole series. This was just... It was basically mental gymnastics. And I feel like Hokazono did a really good job expressing how important this fight was for both of them. And I am a little disappointed at the fact that some fans kind of don't see that. Like, I'm here enjoying the chapter, and I'm understanding how important everything is for both characters involved. But for others, they see that this chapter kind of went by fast. Oh, Sojo was taken down. The fight only lasted a few seconds. That means the Kagurabachi is going to be cancelled soon because it feels like they're rushing it. But I don't know. I don't see it that way. And at the same time, I kind of can't blame them for thinking that, because nobody wants the series to be canceled. But with it making the last three and the TCB, and everyone being really worried about how the first volume is going to do, like, I get it. People are really worried. People think that, oh, Hogazona might be trying to rush this to hurry up and just have it be done because Shonen Jump isn't really pleased with how it's going. But there's really no evidence for that. But, like, I get it. People are worried. But for me, I feel like this was planned from the beginning. We knew that this fight was going to happen quickly. We saw that in the last chapter. And I feel like if he was truly trying to end it, I don't think he would have put so much emphasis on their philosophy and, the timer and everything that went down this chapter. It was really heavy on their beliefs. I feel like if he was trying to rush it, this chapter would have just been them fighting. It would have been some really cool scenes. And by the end of it, we probably would have seen Sojo just die in the same chapter. But of course, we see the chapter end with his defeat and the blade being cut down. Like, if it was truly being rushed, we probably would have seen Sojo go down and die the same chapter. We probably wouldn't have had a timer. We probably wouldn't have too much dialogue. It likely just would have been mostly fighting. At least that's the way I see it. But no, I feel like there's a lot more weight to it than what people are putting on. But no, this was a fantastic chapter, and I loved it. And to briefly summarize and basically repeat what I said on Twitter, I'm going to say this. Chihiro's fight with Sojo was incredible. They tried to see which of their philosophies were right. They both looked up to Rokuhira, so what's interesting is that both aren't wrong to believe in what they do, and they acknowledge that. So it came down to this fight. I really loved the art. Hogazona did a really good job not only showing the time going down, but showing Chihiro and Sojo's urgency to end the fight. It felt as quick as the last chapter said it was going to be. Now, what caught me off guard was Chihiro and Sojo drinking tea before their fight. I feel like anywhere else this would feel off, but it works. The conversation not only added to Sojo's character, but it showed he probably would be different if he knew Takehira personally. It was all well done. And I feel like Hokuzono definitely deserves credit for how this fight was handled. Because them going to the tea room and showing the fight and everything, it could have ended up goofy, but it wasn't. I feel like it was executed perfectly. And I'm really excited to see what Sojo's going to say in the next chapter. Now, I'm not sure if Sojo himself is going to change or stick to his philosophy, but we do see that his blade was cut down. And he did say this battle was important because it came down to their beliefs, and he lost. So I'm really curious to see what he's going to say to Chihiro. And honestly, I'm kind of wondering if he's even going to survive, because it seems here that Chihiro went for the kill. But who knows? I honestly think it would be a little surprising if Sojo did die. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Like, the next chapter is going to be really important, and I can't wait for it. But yeah, that'll do it for me. I went on enough about the chapter. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. This series is just really good, man. I think people are a little too worried. Let's enjoy the ride for now. We'll keep track of the volume sales when they come out, but for now, let's enjoy this chapter and let's look forward to the next chapter. But yeah, that'll do it for me for now. What did you guys think about the chapter? Did you guys enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Do you feel like we're truly reaching the end? Or do you feel like me, like this is just one step forward to Chihiro's journey into getting the rest of the blades? And do you think Sojo's alive? Do you think he'll die in the next chapter? Just feel free to share all your thoughts below, and I'll try to respond to everyone as best as I can. Now, that'll do it for me. Peace out, take care, and here's looking forward to the next chapter.